Hi, it's Gaz here from Moth Creaturae with just a quick video of what I've been doing, a recent project. I don't know where to start with it. Right, I've got a beer in my hand. I've just got it because I've just finished doing what I'm doing. And there's a beer sat on the fence there for me neighbour. He just keeps chucking the mud at us. It's a good job I wait until I finish these projects, otherwise they would end up proper shit. Right, so I'll take you in and show you what I've been up to. And it was my opportunity to try and hide a little bit more light on, excuse the pun, that'll come more apart in a minute, on what it is Moth Creaturae does. So those of you that have followed Moth Creaturae from the start, and those of you that are involved in the Moth Creaturae community group, you have most likely seen my original YouTube videos where I was explaining about what Moth Creaturae was and where the idea came from and how it was actually creativity that helped me deal with some anxiety that I was having in my own life. Not the beer. I've always loved the beer, but that doesn't help us deal with it. So part of my brand ethos was creating a community where people could share their own creative ideas and positive affirmations as a way to kind of support each other, and also by embracing creativity to try and help them in their own sort of lives. It's never going to deal with the root cause of what's causing your issues, but it will help build your confidence. Well, I hope so. It certainly did with me. It helped build my confidence in areas I'd long forgotten. I'm trying to shut the door here, my workshop, so no one bloody shouts. Made a video before and there was Gary, I thought it was a kid again. My mum was in the street shouting at us to come in for me tea. Anyway, what we're doing today, right, I've got my light. Moth Creaturae isn't defined by doing one thing, i.e. having chats with people I respect recently, their opinion on stuff. It'd probably be a lot easier for me to focus on one area and concentrate on that and try and grow that one area. For example, and this has been one of my thoughts on the Moth Creaturae community group. For example, if I created a forum which looked at specifically a VW van, right? People will input on that forum very passionately about an inanimate object, a fucking object anyone can buy. Now it's theirs and it's personal to them. I've got one, right? I'm not knocking people that have got something that they've got like sort of an emotional attachment to, you know. But I've created a group where I'm trying to encourage people to share themselves. And people really aren't, it's not easy to do that. It takes a lot of courage for people to share their own thoughts on things, because they get trolled or they get people just criticizing them, knocking them down. It affects their confidence, so it does take a lot to share stuff with people, Now, when it comes to my brand, I can't be defined by doing one thing. I know a lot of yous out there can probably relate to this, but it sounds really cheesy, but I've got pure creativity running through us, which often keeps us up at night because I've got an idea about this and I need to write it down. I do, because I need to develop that idea. Fuck me, the amount of stuff I forgot. Christ, I wish I could fucking write that stuff down, It's probably mint stuff, and instead I'm left with the dregs of my ideas. But the fact is, I've got that many things going on which I want to do. I can't just focus in on one area. So I can't define Moth Creaturae by one thing. No, I don't make specifically just household products. I make things like nice furniture, bespoke furniture. I make things like lighting, lamps. I make things like, I've made an 8-foot banquet table, I've upcycled a lot of stuff, and I'm not talking about like a splash of paint, I'm talking completely remake it, like in a different style entirely. Made a bed now, from scratch. I can't be defined by one thing. And that's the struggle really as a brand, trying to tap into people. So really what I do is try and just make what I like. I try and make what I think's cool. And I was going to say hopefully, but I know that a lot of you out there do like what it is that I do. And if you're my sort of audience, if you're my target market, then that's mint, because I know that you like the stuff that I do. Going back to what I was doing here, I can't be defined by just one thing, right? And I'm going to talk about light at the minute. Now, when I have an idea for to do something, and I strive to be original, There's some things I do which will appeal to the masses, like candle holders and the like, that other people might do, or benches and stuff, but it'll have my spin on it, Moth Creaturae spin on it. And I'm not just talking about branded with my Moth Creaturae, like sort of maker's mark. I'm talking about with my spin on things. But what I do want to do is I want to strive for originality. I don't want people to copy me, but if they do, they say that's a good compliment, you know, but it's not, because they'll probably undercut us as well. But the fact is, I want to be original. Now, whenever I come up with an idea, I'll do a bit of research as well, make sure it's not been done before. It's not that it's a dead ender. If it has been done before, it's just going to make it less attractive of a proposition for me to do. I want to do something that's brand new. And if rumours are true, I'll believe that what I see on the World Wide Web speaks for the world, you know. So if people make stuff, they're pretty proud of it, they're going to want to share it on the internet straight away. And that's when you get people copying. So when I have a look on the internet, and I don't see anything like what it is I've thought of doing, it might be because it's shite, but most probably it's because no one else thought of it, you know. This lamp particular, I'm chuffed a bit with it, man. Like, you might think it's shite, but I'm chuffed a bit with it. It's an old vintage petrol can. And I'll see people, they'll take an object like this, and they'll stick an Edison lamp bulb out the top, which I think is no disrespect intended, but I think it's a poor show, really, especially when you've got people that like that style, and they pay a lot of money for these things, like 100, 150 quid, for effectively an object with a light bulb in it. Well, not even in it, on top of it. And I think it's a bit of a shame, really, and maybe it's the people that have bought these objects, it's because it's the only thing that they've seen on the market like that, but they like that style. So I'm going to show you something here. I'm not going to show you my workshop because it's a fucking tip. Shite everywhere. But there's a normal vintage petrol can, right? And it's old fashioned, you know, it's all beaten and worn and stuff. And it's got the brass cap on the top. Now what I've done is, I've completely cut out the front. I've lined the top and the bottom with wood. You'll see I've branded it there, Moth Creaturae as well. And I've put a massive Edison bulb in there. It needs to be worth its, you know, otherwise what's the point in doing it? Just put a little bulb in there. Now I decided, because I had a brass cap, to shine the brass cap up and go with a brass fitment. And likewise, I went with brass rivets. Now, it'd be very easy to take the vintage cord and just hold your switch on there. And I don't do things easy, I do things right. And quite often doing it right isn't the easy way. But I don't want it to look overcomplicated, I want it to look simple. I like that old phrase, or sort of mnemonic, KISS, keep it simple, stupid. So you can't see nothing, it just looks like a petrol can with a lead and a lamp on it, right? Me cap's actually me on-off switch and me dimmer switch, which is pretty cool, I think. Definitely haven't seen anything like this anywhere. This is just in my head. So I'm like, well, I've got to make it. Now, how do you get the bulb out? Well, you spin it about. Now, it's got rivets in the front, right? You'll notice that. But I didn't want to put rivets in the back, because then you'd see them. You'd see the reverse side of the rivet when you're looking through the glass. So I went with a brass piano hinge to keep on the brass theme, right? It's been ground off there because I needed a weld to get it a flush fit. Likewise, I went with brass clasps. It looks like it's got screws and it's not, it's beads of weld. Now, don't judge me weld. I had to do beads of weld, like down here, little spots. Because it's such thin metal, it would just burn through the metal. So that's in place there, nice brass hinge. I haven't went with the rubber seal around here, you know, to make it like safety, you know, so you kind of cut yourself. Of course you're going to potentially hurt yourself. But what I have done is I've made best effort to file that right smooth and flat. So it is, you know, there's no sharp edges to catch yourself on. I'm running my finger on there like an idiot, you know, I haven't cut them to bits. Now the door, because that is exposed, it's larger. I've went with rounder edges, you know, so there's no sharp edges that you can cut yourself on the corners. So that closes up. I went with a 2.5 metre vintage cord, because if you're going to buy something like this, you probably want it up a height, and the last thing you want to do is spend good money on something like this and then have to put on an extension lead. And I decided to put the lead out the bottom centre, so it's not like at the bottom left, bottom right, and then you dictate it to where you put it. So yeah, there's my petrol can lamp. Finally, those eagle-eyed amongst you might be wondering why I went to all the effort to make that, like, sort of cutting things out, fabricating bits and pieces, shining things up like the cap and that, and then leave the outside sort of shite. Well, because I love that, because that speaks a story. And if you want something that's all glitzy and shiny, then that's fine, you can get them on the market. Just go and get a reproduction oil can, petrol can. But I didn't want that, I wanted something original that's got a bit of a tail behind it. So I think you might agree, I hope you do. If you like it, drop us a comment below, let us know what you think, right? Until next time, my next project, take care, bye bye.